Demons are responsible for UFO sightings, a conspiracy theorist claims. I remember I was once talking to a priest concerning extraterrestrials and UFOs, and he said, what would you do if you were abducted by an extraterrestrial? Or if an entity tried to abduct you and claiming he was an extraterrestrial? And I answered him, well, I would tell him, get away from me. I belong to Christ. You have no authority over me, so don't touch me. Now, I also opened up the Holy Bible, as our church tells us to open up at random. Our guardian angel guides where our finger opens and also where our eye falls onto. And the passage that fell open for when I asked in my mind, are there such things as extraterrestrials? The passage was, am I not enough to fill the whole of creation? So that means that, of course, they're not real. They're demonic entities. Now, we know even the Apostle Paul in the New Testament says, nothing will sway me from God Christ, nor no angel, no prince, no heavenly entity coming from this world or out of this world. Okay? Now, a priest also told me that, these demonic entities can turn into a mountain before us where there was no mountain. So they can fool us in this way. Also, the monasteries, it's a male monastery community in Mount Athos of northern Greece, where there are 20 monasteries, male monasteries. They're awake, the monks are awake all night praying, and they go to sleep after that. They have 3 2-hour intervals of sleep, but not at night. At night they keep awake praying. And they said that many times while they're praying, by the way, there are no women allowed on that peninsula. Okay, no women. And they would hear a knocking on the door with a woman pleading to let her in so that they could help her. Whereas there are no women there. Okay, it's obviously a demonic entity. They can also come to us as angels of light. And now I've reportedly told you, this is how the devil appeared to Eve to entice her. Again, this is something that is explained very well in the New Testament by St. Paul. And he says, don't forget that we must be aware of the wiles of the devil and the uses of his methods. Don't forget that the devil appeared to Eve and enticed her. He appeared as an angel of light of God. Now, the seraphim angels are the closest to the throne of God, and they're unquenched fire. Okay? Seraphim. Nahasham seraphim. But they were snakes. A snake symbol of fire. Now, when the holy light was taken away from him by God, by the Archangel Michael, he was left as a symbol of a snake. And that's why in the Old Testament Genesis, God said, from now on you will be a snake crawling on the earth. So we have to know this. Also, when the prophet Moses, during the Exodus, when the people were being bitten by poisonous snakes, ran up a mountain and held up his rod, and he put a copper symbol of a snake on his rod. So when the rays of light of the sun hit the copper, and the copper reflected the rays of sun, and it looked like a seraphim, in order for the people to be reminded of the throne of God and the seraphim. And he said, and whoever looks at this will not be bitten. Okay? So, yes, there are angels and saints helping us, but there are also the opposite. Now, Bart Sibrel was famously punched in the face by astronaut Buzz Aldrin after heckling him over the moon landings. There seems to have been a rise in people assigning religious significance to the UFO phenomenon in recent years. While some have come to see these objects as angelic in nature, others, such as the conspiracy theorist Bart Sibrel, believe the complete opposite. Speaking recently on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, Sibrel suggested that demonic entities, quote unquote, are piloting UFOs and that they have been deliberately masquerading as extraterrestrial visitors as part of some malevolent and mysterious plan to dominate mankind. He said the top two UFO researchers said UFOs are real, number one, he said, and number two, they're not from outer space, and number three, they're demonic. The Bible talks about fallen angels interbreeding with humans, as talked about in Genesis chapter 6, and creating a race called the Nephilim, who were men of renowned world leaders. Sabrell is certainly no stranger to controversy, having previously made headline news after being punched in the face by Apollo 11 astronaut Buzz Aldrin back in 2002. The bust-up happened when he openly harassed Aldrin outside the Lux Hotel in Beverly Hills on the authenticity of the moon landings, and even called him thief, liar, and coward to his face. Aldrin later claimed that he had been acting in self-defense and no charges were filed. This is from the Irish Star, and it's on Unexplained Mysteries by T.K. Randall. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.